Alrighty, I want to go ahead and take a quick video, hopefully a quick video, showing how I make ramps in Fusion 360. I used to have the paid version. Unless you're a professional, I don't think that's worth it. I'm trying to teach myself as I go along, so I am definitely not a pro at this. I'm probably not doing things the right way, but I'm making it work. So for me, I didn't renew my license, so I'm back onto the free edition. So hopefully this will help anybody out that is trying to build a ramp for a pinball machine. So the first thing that you need to do is sketch out the design that you want to utilize for your ramp. You can do that multiple ways. You can draw it on a piece of paper like I'm showing right here right now. You can actually build your entire game within a 3D rendering and you can design it there. That's how I made the ramps for my game. So you can see here I made the play field and I did the outlines of the ramps in there so that way I made sure everything fit. In this case, I'm trying to help out someone that's in a strictly custom pinball Facebook page. So he sent me out a sketch of how things needed to be laid out. So I went ahead and imported that. So kind of show you how to do some of these things as well. So in order to import a canvas, you just go to Insert and then Canvas, and then you'll select the file that you want to import from your computer. So this is the one I have right here, and then you select your plane. So um, you can kind of move it around to see which one it is. This one you want the flat, so you click on the flat one, and then you'd hit OK. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. For some reason, it never comes to scale, but we can fix that. So when you import your canvas here, it's important that you know the size of at least one reference point so that way you can get it right. So over here, you can see my canvas is now imported. And let me go ahead and turn this other one off. I've already put a lot of the ramp together so that way I don't bore everyone with the details of everything. I can kind of talk through how it's done. So in this case, got the canvas in here and it's not to size at all. So we can go to calibrate. You click on that and you can quickly scroll in. I like to get as close as I can, and then you put two reference points. So we got here and then a here, right? And then that tells you how far apart it is, and then you tell it exactly what you want it to be. So for Fusion 360, I'm doing everything in millimeters. It seems to work a little bit better. You can adjust it to inches, but it just allows me to dial things in with how I was building everything with my caliper to make sure everything matched the way I wanted it to. So here you would just convert inches to millimeters. So let's say it's 150. You just type in 150, enter, and now you can see the canvas is now adjusted size. So that's how you calibrate it to make sure you have the right size. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off because I did it here properly. And you can see exactly what we're working with. Now, the next thing you have to do is we need to draw out this within Fusion 360. So that's going to be a sketch. So you click up here, create sketch, and then again, you want to select the pane that you're wanting to utilize. In this case, again, we want the flat one. Like if you wanted a wall, here's the side or another side. So this one, here we go. And then you literally just go through and you outline it out. So you have all these different options that you can utilize. This is straight line, square, circles, curved lines, and so forth. So I like to start out with a straight line and you just really try and get as close as you can and you just map it out. So now that this part's not going to be straight, it's curved. So then I'll come up here, I'll change it to curved, click the reference point because it's important that you keep it closed. Otherwise, it won't work in the future. So you just literally go through and you just put these little reference points everywhere. And you can see it's kind of already outlining it out for you. It really depends on how well the sketch is done on how easily these already match up. But you can just keep on going until you're done. All right, so I'm going to come down here and finish it there. And then when you're done, you'll hit finish sketch, but be sure that you close it off. So you want to complete the whole sketch. I just don't want to waste everyone's time watching me trying to draw this out. So I'm kind of skipping along here and not making this part look pretty, but we'll go right back up here. And when it's closed, you'll see it turns this light shade of blue. You hit finish sketch. Now you know this is a solid sketch. It's important that it's done that way, because if it doesn't close off like this, then you can't extrude. So right now, if I click on here, I can hit E to extrude, or you can come up and I think it's create, extrude, and then it opens this window, and then I can drag my sketch into a body. So that's why it's super important that you make sure and close it off, because if you don't, see here, I can't click on it, so I can't extrude that out. So once you have this laid out, the details are where it's super duper important to get this nice and smooth. So this is where you spend most of your time, is drawing this out. Let's say we got this here and we need to adjust it. You can click on each one of the points, hit move, and then you can literally start moving it around to place it wherever you want. So you just kind of go through and you hit each line until you get it nice and smooth and lined up with your drawing. And you keep going. And you notice when I click on some of these, you see this green line? This will adjust how much the line curves. So you see if I click on that and I move it, see if I can get it, there it goes. Now you see how the line bends differently? This allows you to adjust that bend so that way you can get it just right. So I can bigger, and that, see how it makes those lines, it doesn't turn as tight. If I scroll in, it gets tighter to that reference point, right? So you can really play with this. And again, that's where it takes a lot of practice in order to get it nice and clean and nice smooth radiuses and so forth. Swami, I don't know his real name. The guy is really helpful in the Fusion 360 forums. He spent some time on the phone with me one day, and he showed me that, and that was kind of the game changer for me. So let me go ahead and turn this off. And so over here, I guess I should have talked about this a little bit. This is kind of your window where you're doing all your work. Down here is your timeline. You can change that if you go to direct modeling. I don't suggest that, because if you do direct modeling, then any changes that you need to fix, like if let's say you get an hour into this and you've done 10 or 15 steps, and you're like, oh crap, I forgot to change the size of something. If you're in direct modeling, when you change that size, it doesn't impact anything downstream. Whereas if you leave it in the model that it's at now, if I were to go back here and I click on that and then I can edit it, it will change everything that happened after that from that reference point. So it's really important when you start extruding things. So let me actually show you that real quickly. So I'm going to extrude this real quick. So you can do here, we drag it 20 millimeters. So now you see we've got a solid base here. It's not pretty. Doesn't need to be right now, but you can see we have a solid. You see how it's the lines are here just not real clean, not real smooth. Well, if I go in here, since I did not change the direct modeling, if I go in here and I move this, now, watch, it automatically adjusts that solid as well. If I was in direct modeling, it would not change the solid, it would just move the line, and you'd have to go in, delete the solid, recreate it, and then anything you've done to that solid since then, it won't be impacted and so forth. This saves you a ton of time keeping it this way. So that way any changes you make almost are real time, and it adjusts, the system adjusts for you. So let me turn that back off. Over here, I've got different components. So I've got this one labeled Facebook ramp. So this is because I'm helping out an individual on one of the Facebook pages. So I just labeled it that. And then you see down here, I've got right side, left side, and example, so I can show you what I'm doing over here. Turn that off, and I'm just going to close it. Right now it's active. The dot here means it's active. These are inactive. So I can open all of these up, and you can see what I've done what I was doing prior to this conversation to kind of get things ready, so you can kind of see what's going on. So I've got, you'll see a handful of sketches in here. So we'll start with the left side. So this particular ramp is a little bit more challenging than the ramps that I did on my game. And the reason why, at least making them the way I am now, and the reason why is because it makes a U-turn. So getting the height profile was a bit of a challenge and something I had to kind of think back and how to do. And what I wound up deciding is I decided that I was just going to do this in two separate ramps and then merge them together. It's kind of the easiest way I could figure this out. None of my ramps kind of make this curve back, so I was able to do it with just kind of the one piece. So if I come in here, I turn the right side off, you can see it would be just this portion of the ramp. So this line right here, this is my height. So if I change it, you can click on this with the left button and hold it, and you can drag everything around and see if you get everything mixed up, and you're like, oh crap, how do I get back? You hit home, takes you back to kind of the home view, and then you can kind of start moving it around. Just clicking the little points, and that's how you move the window. That's the easiest way to, at least I found to do it, is just kind of clicking on it and kind of dragging around. If you hold your scroll button, it'll move around as well. So you hold that and then you move your mouse and it kind of moves. So right here, you can see I've got 3 separate sketches that I've made. This is the side profile of the ramp to kind of see what the height is going to look like and how it kind of goes smooth. So in order to do this, you just have to create another sketch. This time, so before, come back over here, before we were at the top, right? So this was kind of the bottom. Well, now I need to do the side. So you click on the side pane, and then you can draw the sketch out, right? In by doing this, it allows you to make the line on the side so that way when I extrude this later, I use it as a cut feature. So what I do, same way, is we'll just do this real quick, is a line. So I'll take a line, straight line, and then I do my curves, and then I put a handful of reference points in there, just kind of like this, and then I end it with another straight line. So now that I have that, then I can go back into it, and I can, where to go? Oh, it's down here. Turn this back on. Sketches. There it is. So I can go back in it, and then I can start adjusting and playing with what I want the profile to look like. So I highlighted all those so I can move them all at once. So you move them now, and then you, again, right click, move, and then you just play with it until you get it how you think it should be, right? So let's say this is how I wanted the ramp to look like on the side. And this is where it's important that if you're helping, okay, so if you're helping, you need to know how high does the ramp need to be. So that would be the endpoint here. And uh, you can adjust that down the road. Oops. You can adjust that if you need to after you've done some changes. But it's good to at least start out with where it needs to be. So you need to know what's the height of kind of the points of the ramp going to be. And I've kind of flying around here. I don't want to do that. Let me slow this down just a little bit because I know when I was watching stuff that got confusing real quick. So let me go back to kind of my home position here, and we'll explain that a little bit more. So you can see here's the ramp. this particular individual said at this point the ramps need to be 3 inches high. So in order to do that, I needed to make sure that my end height right here is 3 inches. And I just did that by measuring from the base to the top. And I put a point there. So if I hit sketch, see, let me see which one we are on left side. So I need to activate this one so I can click on it. There we go. So you can, and I don't know why Fusion does this where it just changes the window on you like that, but it does. So I can hear, you can click there and then down to the base and it'll tell you, see this is 42.374 millimeters. Didn't click exactly on the line, but it should be about 42.5 millimeters in order to get to that 3-inch range. So you just make those reference points, and then when I'm done with it, I like to keep things fairly clean, so I'll just go in and I'll just delete the line back out so it's not in the way. So you've got that in there, and then I needed to know. I'm gonna go to the top. I needed to know if there was any specific heights at this portion. It didn't say there were, so I left it at base 0 here to the full 3 inches, and it'll kind of go from there. But where the heights in here could be important is how quickly it needs to ramp up. Maybe there's a post that's under here or a ball is going to travel under here. You need to make sure that there's enough room. So you figure out where that trail could be and you make sure you have enough space for it. So now that I've got the ramp side profile, so the height profile out there, what you would have seen when I was building that is we'll take these guys off. And this is how you turn things on and off over here. This is just the eyeball. So I started with this one, and in order to kind of keep things uniform, what I do is I just highlight it, copy, Control C, or you can right click it, new sketch, and then I click on it because I want it right on top of it, and I Control V. Now I've got a new sketch right on top of it, and I want my ramp to be 3 millimeters thick. So then I'll just click the arrow, and again, this is the Fusion thing. I'm sure people that know what they're doing know why it does that. I click the arrow, I'll do 3 millimeters, and then I hit OK and finish the sketch. And now you see I have a 3 millimeter difference between these two lines. So that's why you see over here why I have that line. And then I make a third line. So this is the bottom of the ramp. This is the thickness of the floor of the ramp. And this is the top of the walls. Okay, so now we've got everything laid out. I've got over here, I've got the ramp sketched out, so the dimensions of it, and then I got my height set. So now I'm ready to actually start making the ramp. So what I do is, I'm going to turn these off so you can see. So you can see here, I can extrude this whole ramp. The one thing I do before I do that, again, I copy this like I did with the side, and I copy it, paste it, and create a second one, and then you can delete these endpoints, right? Which makes this. So now I've got the walls sketched out. Easiest way I could figure out to make sure that everything was consistent and matched. That's how I came up with it. So I'm going to extrude this, and we'll say 140 millimeters. It's going to be more than we need. So now we've got the base in here, and then now I need the walls. So I'm going to turn this off. So it created this body. So I'm going to turn this off, and now I've got the left side. So now I need to extrude again, but this time you see I can't click anything because it's trying to do a full face. I just want to do a line. So you see over here, thin extrude. Click on that. Now I can extrude, and I'm just holding control so I can do both of them at the same time. Now you can extrude a line, so it doesn't have to be the full thing. So we'll do 140 again. So there's my walls. Okay, so it created this body over here as well. So there's both walls. And if you want to, you can go in here and rename them and so forth. The reason why I'm not right now is because it starts to get a little bit messy here in just a second. So see, we've got this, but now we've got to cut the profiles. So how I cut the profiles is these side ones. So again, come back over here and we've got, that's my bottom, that's my top of the walls, and this is the floor. Okay, so we just want to cut the floor right now. Again, extrude, and I'm going to hit that line. Scroll to the top so I can see what's going on. And you see when it turns red, that means it's cutting. So it's only going one side. So over here I can do two sides. And now I can drag this to the other side. Okay. So where it took a lot of time and where I didn't want to waste y'all's time trying to show you how to do this was trying to get this profile to where it would cut to where this side right here was 3 inches. Because again, I've got to merge these together. So I need this to be 3, this is 3, 3, so it's a clean connection. So now I've got that. I'll scroll back to the side, and now you can kind of see over here where we're making our cut. Okay, so you can kind of see what that cut's going to look like, and come over here. You need to make sure that you're cutting the side that you want to. So right now you can see here's my blue line, which is the line, and it's cutting down. So you can change that by adjusting over here the location. So if I change this to side 2, and because I have two-sided, side 2, see now it's all at the top, but I don't want that. I want it at the bottom for this cut. So we go back to 1, or you can do center. I just like to do top or bottom because it helps me with my measurements. But we're there, and you can do the wall thickness if you want to cut more. I don't suggest changing this too much. So I'll go ahead and change these both to 10. And you'll see that it's cutting more of it away. I think that it's fine as long as there's not a lot of big turns and so forth in there. If you have a lot going on, I found that it likes to freeze your computer when it's trying to think of what it needs to do if you go too far. So I don't generally go too far with it. I'll just cut a small portion like that. And then you'll see up here, see all these new bodies that joined. So these are all the bodies that it's created. It's separated everything. So I don't need these bottom ones anymore. So I just turn the visibility off. Okay, so now we got the bottom cut. Now I'm going to turn that line off. I'm going to turn this sketch on. So now we need to cut the bottom of the ramp. So this is where the ball will actually travel. So we'll do extrude again, line here, and then back to the top. Other thing you can do symmetrical. I'll do both sides at the same time. I stopped doing that because some of my ramps were so big. It started causing issues with my computer again. But so we've got that now. You see it's cutting the bottom. I don't want to cut the bottom. I want to cut the top. So we'll change the side. So now we cutting at the top of the line. We'll do cut. Okay. So now created a whole bunch of these guys again. So we'll turn them off. So here, here, here. See, this is why I was saying it would get messy real quick for the labeling, and that's why I don't label anything until I'm pretty much done. But there you go. This is the floor of your amp. See, it's nice and smooth, and it's the correct height and everything. But man, ball's gonna fall off, isn't it? Well, we gotta do the same now to the walls. Okay, so now we need to come back here, and my walls go. Must accidentally merge my walls at some point. So let's go ahead and just recreate the walls again. So I turn the wall sketch back on, extrude, thin line, both of them here. 140. It's way more than it needs to be. New body, If you do um, if you do join, then it's going to join to here already. I don't like doing that. I don't join anything until the very, very end. So I do new body. There we go. Now I'm going to turn my floor off because I don't want to accidentally join it, cut it anymore, or anything like that. And we just repeat what we just did with the floor, but now to the walls. Okay, so turn that off. We got the bottom, and we'll extrude inline here. We'll do, seemed like it was still pretty happy. It's not a super complex ramp right here. So there we go. I'll cut it. And then this one, turn that one off. Come back up here. Extrude. And then let's see. There we go. We'll go 140 again. And then remember I like side 2 on this particular one. All right, and then you can go ahead and cut that. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I just made a mistake. That one's not cut. I shouldn't be cutting that one because that is for the floor and we're doing the walls. I don't know what I was thinking there. Okay, so go back here. I need the top. Top's the one I need here. And then here, symmetrical. Again, I like to cut the top on this one, so we'll go side 2. There we go. I see you have all these again, so we start turning the ones off we don't want. So this one, this one, this one, this one. All right, so now you got the walls. Now we just need to turn the floor back on. There you go. So there's your ramp. So you can see real quickly, let me turn these sketches off so you can see a little bit better. See, now it's all in the one piece, and it creates that ramp for you. Now you can join them together if you want to, or you can leave them separate. Me personally, I leave them separate at this point until I'm just about ready to get ready to print, and then I'll merge them and if there's any cleanup I need to do. Because once you merge them, then it's hard to make changes if you need to. I can see right here, this right here, this is not smooth, not happy with that. So let's do, you could go in here and we can adjust right here, these, and it will change it. So the first thing I need to do both base and the wall. Turn my bodies off. We'll see if we can adjust that real quickly. Back on. No, that didn't go the right direction. I'll have to play with that later. But so there's your ramp. So if you only had the one, you would be done with generating that. Then you would need to create mounting points and the mounting brackets for like your wire forms, and then also holes for um, the metal flap for the ramp as well. So in order to do those, I will go ahead. We'll go ahead and do one. So we're still on this left side. I need to create a sketch. I want it on the floor, and I like to just come in and figure out the height I want it. So let me measure a ramp I've got right now. Let's see the height I've got. 25, that's probably too much for this particular situation. We'll do 15 mil. So we're going to do 15. All right, so there I've got my height away from the bottom, so reference point, and then from the edge of the wall, I like to do about 5 millimeters. That's generally tight enough to the wall to where the ball won't hit the rivet, but far enough away to where you can get your tool in there. So I'll come back here. I put a reference point there, and now I can come back the other direction until I can get to 5 mil. There we go. So I've got, this is my point that I'm going to refer to here. So I'm 15 millimeters up, and I'm 5 millimeters away from the outside wall. So I finish that sketch, and I'll do another one for the other side. And again, I'm sure people that know what they're doing here probably are laughing, saying that's not how you do this properly. It's just, this is the way I figured it out to make it work for what I was trying to do. And it really, really came in handy. I was, quite honestly, I was about ready to give up because I'd been playing with this so much, just trying to get it to work. And I couldn't figure out any way in order to make a ramp. And I didn't want to pay someone to do it. And I was at the point of on the verge of giving up, and I just stumbled across doing things this way, and it works. But I'm sure there's definitely more appropriate ways to do it. But so now I got my points here for the holes. So I'll right click when I get on a hole, right click, and you see the hole option, click on there, and then you just say what size hole you want. And I believe the rivets are 3 millimeters. So we will do over here. So this, you got all the different options. You want recessed, you've just recessed here, countersunk, and then is it flat on the bottom? If you're not going all the way through, the drill points don't matter. But if you're not, and like you were putting a screw in something, you can have it to where it angles down at the bottom, make it easier for you. So what I need to do, I'm going to do a straight one here, and then it's going to be all the way through and 3 millimeters. And it's not happy. I don't know why it's not happy. Oh, it's not liking it. Well, let's do it the other way. We'll click on the ramp itself, hole, and then we do it again. Oh, I know why. Let's see, I bet you that sketch is really low. No, it's not, but if we go this direction, the hole. Nope, still doesn't like that. I am not sure why it is not letting me create the hole. And this is one of the reasons why I got super irritated with Fusion. And again, I know that's a me problem, not a Fusion problem. But let's be real honest, it was $600 for the software. It seems like it should be a little more beginner user friendly. Maybe that's just me. But it's not the most, it's not the easiest to use, or at least it's not the easiest to figure out. So that's what I found. See, now I've got an issue here. So I'm gonna have to figure out why it's not going all the way through. I'm not gonna waste y'all's time doing it, but let me just show you what it's supposed to do. And honestly, I haven't had this problem. But see, I create a box so you can kind of see, and I'll create the hole in it. Right click, hole, and then we'll make it all the way through. There's your hole. So I don't know why it's not doing that on the ramp at this particular moment, so I'll have to figure that out. So that is the ramp there. Now I've got to make the other one in order to join them together. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. So this is left side, and I'm going to go ahead and hide it, and I'm going to come down here to the right side. I'm going to turn it on and then activate it, and then we're going to build it real quick as well. Go 140. Okay. And then now we need to cut it. We'll go cut. This is side one. It's one I want. And we'll cut this one. This one I like on side two. And we cut the top. At this point, I probably could stop the video, but give you basically two examples of a ramp, and one maybe it'll help somebody if they get stuck when they're trying to build one of these. Okay, so now I've got the bodies, so we'll come here, expand bodies, and then turn off what I don't want to see. We don't want this one, and we don't want that one. Okay, so there we go. And I see I made a mistake already. So let's fix that real quickly. So you can see this line right here. You can see if I scroll, it's going down. So that's not going to match with the ramp that we just built. I thought I had already fixed that, but I hadn't. So let's take this, move that, and then we're going to move this to the left. This is a good opportunity for you to see what I was talking about before, where I was saying if you use this particular modeling mode, when you make the change, it'll fix it. So I've done that change, so now it should have updated the bodies, and you see how it did? So there you go. It's nice and flat. Now if I would have changed to direct modeling, it would not have done that. I would have had to gone through and remake everything that I just made. That's a good example on why I feel it's smarter to not go in direct modeling. So let's go back to sketches. Now we need to do the walls. So do my walls here, here, and we are doing a new body. Okay. Turn the inside off. Now we got to cut these guys out. So here we go. And this is side one. Hopefully I'm not going too fast here. You can stop and go back if you need to. See what we're doing, but you know, we explained it in the other one. All right, so there we go. Now we can turn off all the stuff that we don't want. And then we need this one and that one. So again, we've got the walls. Turn the body back on of the floor. Here we go. This is the exit side of that ramp that we're making. So now we've got that, and now I'm just going to combine it with the left side, turn that on, and you see? it lines up. And I see I made a mistake. I forgot to change it to the second side when I did that. So if I can remember what extrude it was, I think it was this one. We'll do edit feature. It was. We can do side 2. There we go. There we go. Again, another good reason why to use this type of modeling. If I can go in there, I can find where I made that change. I can edit it here and it fixes it, so I don't have to recreate it. We can see now we got a good solid piece. This ramp goes across. It's 3 inches high and it goes back down. So we basically just built this ramp. Um, I I asked, but I'm not sure if um, uh, if this goes to the back wall to where he can mount it back there. But I'm going to pretend like it does because it looked like in the pictures that it would. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of mounts on here for him. So I'm going to create a box. I'll put it on the floor, and then I make these. We'll make it 15 by 15, and then I don't know why I just like making everything 3mm thick. It just seems to be working. All my test ramps came out nice and solid. You could probably go skinnier than that, um, depending on the material you're using. But for me, it's worked. So now we create a hole, and then so the screws that go into the hex post, I forget the size of those. I think they're about 5mm. Let me measure something real quickly. Yeah, I'm making mine 5. So we'll make this one 5 as well. So we will make a hole again here, 5mm. And then, but wait, how do I get it exact in the center? Well, this one, because of the square, it already has the button. It kind of tells you. But the way you can move it and make sure it's consistent, you can click off to the side and you can see you got measurements to where things are at. So you can kind of move it around and get your measurement, or better yet, so we know the middle of this should be what, 7.5, right? So if I click here, click on that line, I can type in 7.5 and it moves it, and I know this should be 7.5, would be the middle of the box. There we go. Hit OK. So now I've got a mount, and then we just have to move it into place. I like to clean things up a little bit and put a little fillet on both sides of here. So we're going to do that. So this is the fillet feature. You just click on the corners that you want and you can push and pull them to round them off. Just to me, it makes it look nicer. So there we go. Okay, and then now I'm just going to line this up with the ramp. So I should probably specify. So you click over here. You can either click here, right click, and hit move. But sometimes it goes faces. You got to make sure it goes to bodies, and then you can click on it. But I like to just, when I'm doing a body, I just click there and I click on it, and then you can move this around. So I overlap this just a little bit to the wall, and um, then I would just need to move it up to where it's flush on the bottom. So this can be a little tricky depending on the height. I believe this was 42.5. Yep, there we go. So, okay. And we'll move this back. So there's one right there. And now I want another one. So I'm gonna click on this. Here we go. Now if I move it, if I hit create copy, leave that one there and I'll move this one. All right, so we'll put another one towards the back and hit OK. So now we've got 2 mounting points for the ramp. And let's move this one a little bit further out. Give it a little more secure. So you can put those wherever you want and however you need them. So now we've got everything kind of put together. Go ahead and turn these sketches off so you can kind of see just the body and what it looks like. So here we go. So there's the ramp. And the only thing that's not working right now, and it's just being a pain, is my holes for the flap, which I still don't know why it's doing that. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to create a copy, see if we can fix that real quickly. So I highlight everything, and then I can move this, and basically I can create a copy of what I'm doing, hit OK, and now I'm going to merge everything together. So combine, and then I can just click on everything, and we're going to make a solid ramp. Oops, did not like that. Okay. There we go. Where's it at? Oh, still miss some things. Um, there we go. There you go. That's the full ramp. Okay, so now we're back. We have a copy of a ramp, so I'm not messing up anything that we've done there. And then now, let's see if it'll let me put a hole in it now that it's merged into a single solid. Still doesn't like it. So let's troubleshoot just real quickly. So I think what I can do here, and I'm going to turn off, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and create a new component and just move this to it so I can just play with it a little bit. So take that body, I'm going to drag it down here. Now we'll just turn off all these other things, clean things up a little bit. So now we're back down here. Okay, now I need to get my sketch back on there so that way I know where it needs to go. Oops, here we go. And that was 15 and 15. And go back to the side. And I believe we went to 5. Okay. And I'm just going to do this way. We'll go back up here. 15. There we go. And let's close it off and see if maybe that helps finish. Okay. So the only thing I can think of is that I need an offset plane in order to get it to cut through properly. So let's try that together. So in order to do that, what you can do is you click Construct, Offset Plane, and you click the one that you want to move. In this case, I want to move the floor because I'm going to move the floor up. I think that's the problem. I think it's too low. And then, so we're only about 3 millimeters up. So I'm going to make this 8 because there's some curvature to it. Let's see if this works. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and create a hole using that offset plane. Oop. Was it 3 millimeters? And yeah, I know there's no target body. Why is it still not happy? Okay, we're going to do okay. I think it's because it was There we go. That was it. It just wasn't like in the plane it was on. Okay, so zoom in and I'll create my hole. There we go. Okay, there, see? That works. Now we'll do the same again. And I should say the settings. Let's see if we can zoom in. And we'll put it here. Now, he's got his mounting locations for his ramp flaps. There, now we have a completed ramp. We got mounting points in the back. We got place for the ramp flaps. We got a nice curvature. I'll turn this sketches off so you can see better and the construction zone off. Okay. So everything is now there to be a complete ramp for him. This seems too close though. Something doesn't seem right. I'm going to do an inspect. And I'm going to see how far we are from the edge. 1.2 millimeters. Let's see, this one looks correct. Let's see what this one looks like. Edge 2.5. So yeah, I'm not happy with that at all. So let's take that hole, and I can show you that. So I'm going to edit that feature. It's right here, and I can move it. Let's see. First, I need to bring my sketch back. Go edit, move. Let's do this smarter. Let's measure that. Edit, move, turn, and then we want another millimeter. So there we go. And if I could have put that hole in with the way I normally do it by just right clicking on here and creating the hole, it would have automatically moved. But because I've kind of had to fudge the system a little bit in order to get it to work, it's not working for me. And see, that's still not working to where it's letting me move. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill that thing in. Let's see if that's going to be enough. This is where things can be a little fun. Or better yet, let's see, I'll just go back until we didn't make the hole. We didn't go far enough. So apologize for the back and forth here, but I kind of want to leave it this way so that we can really see some of the challenges that you actually face when making these ramps. So that way when you wind up trying to do it, you don't get discouraged like I did. Because I watched a couple of videos. They were using lofts and stuff like that, and I tried and tried, could never get it to work. I got so discouraged that I just about gave up, and I just would like I'd like to kind of keep these mistakes in there so that way you can kind of see that I've probably built 15 of these things now because of all the different design changes that I've had with my game, and I still get things wrong, and I still have to kind of fight through things to get it to work. But at the end of the day, just stick with it, and go back, and you can get it done. Um, it just sometimes takes a little extra time. So I'm gonna do something. That's something I like to do on these ramps. I don't know if he's 3D printing them or not, but let's see. I like to put a little a up here. This seems to make it look nicer. You do that. Um, especially with 3D printed ones. I think that's what he's doing. So it helps with that. And then down here, I'm going to do the same here. This will help with his transition. So we're going to put just a little fillet to that as well. So that way it's curved. Just a little bit, you can see how it's curved. So that should help with that ramp, with that flap. It's going to come down and it's going to bend down here. Probably should go back a little bit more even because you see it's super flat there. And I don't know um, if that ramp flap is going to go as flush as he would like. So that's why I'm putting this kind of fillet in there to curve it a little bit. So that should help a whole lot. But that's it. So I'm going to save this file and I'll send it off to him. Hopefully this works out. If nothing else, hopefully it helps somebody else when they're trying to make their own ramps. So we can get more custom pinball machines made. Thank you.